Hello everyone. After a long break, we will continue with Angular Pro screencast. And next set of videos are going to be about service workers in Angular. But for better understanding how service workers work within Angular, I would like to start with pure service worker understanding. And next 3, 4, 5 episodes are going to be exactly about usage of pure service workers. First of all, let's try to understand how to start using service workers. And we need only two things. First is to register our service worker file within HTML page. With help of global object navigator, then service worker, then method register, we register our SW0.js file. That's it, what we need in HTML. And the second thing, we need service worker file itself. Let's go to service worker file. Inside service worker file, there is an event-driven model. So if we want to work with any event, we need to subscribe to this event. Here you see an example of two events, install and active. And also, I created a sort of helper for myself where I put in a constant version of service worker. It will help you a lot after, because in many cases, you would like to cache service workers and you always want to know which version are you working on during debug. So I patched a console log to show not only message, but to show also service worker version. When you update your service worker, you can change the version manually and see in console not only message, but specific version of service worker. It's quite convenient. So let's see how it goes in browser. For this, I use static web server. My favorite one is HTTP server. You can use your favorite one, HTTP server. It's possible to install via npm. Just you install global package, and with one command, you have your server running on 8080 port. Let's go to our browser and run our index0 HTML file. And we see in console message that file was executed and service worker was successfully installed. Also in a tab in Web Developer Tools, you can go to Application. From the left, you have Service Workers, and you can do a lot of things with Service Workers. And you see, first of all, you see the information about your file that was successfully installed. And from all this functionality, I bet you would use a lot unregistered. Unregistered when you want to be sure that old service worker is unregistered and you refresh the page and new service worker is ready to be used. Also important one, the difference between install and active events. First one is install your service worker into browser, but browser will not use it from the first place. Why it's so? Developers of service worker created in such way that if you have, for example, your application running in two different tabs of the browser, to be sure that you have a constant behavior for both tabs, that it's not like you refresh the page and you are using new version of service worker, and here you didn't refresh the page, that's why your application is broken. That's why you need to be sure that all tabs are closed. Only in this case, service worker will be ready to activate new version. It's quite convenient and you can subscribe for both events. Going back to our code, I would say that this line is not very production ready. We simplified as much as possible to highlight the main register method. But in fact, for your production version of application, you do something like so. First of all, you're gonna check whether service worker is supported by the browser. Second thing, you just want to be sure that everything is loaded. And only after you register your service worker file, and also like a parameter, you can set up the scope. Maybe for your pre-pro project or for experiments, it's not super important, but for your enterprise application where you can have different versions of your service worker for different users, and they also could have different versions of cache. It's quite convenient to separate those assets that you cached for different scopes. So here you can set up not just pass like a slash, but name also your version. It will help you also with debug later.